Hey everyone, this is Phoenix Ankaa from the Phoenix Ankaa YouTube channel. Thanks to all new subscribers and subscribers for being with me on this journey. I've been under deep observation since the last video. This video is a global earthquake and volcano report. My apologies for the delay. We will address places like New Zealand, the US, and many other locations. We are in very turbulent times for those that are awake and can discern what is happening on a global front. Sending my sincerest heartfelt prayers to Turkey, New Zealand, Ohio, and the many other locations around the world that are experiencing unforeseen disasters and adverse events. Let's take a look at our transitioning planet. For like-minded communities now, make sure you form your communities. Form them now. Unite, people. Unite. Let's do this. Okay, just want to let you know Pahala is currently having earthquakes right now, really small ones, but they are starting to stack up in the last couple of hours. They have had several earthquakes in the last week. Now we still have volcanoes that are under alert and also erupting out there. The one, Kilauea, is actually erupting right now, and I think some people have footage of that. And also Mauna Loa is also under unrest. So that's the cap on Hawaii. Since this is a place that we often forget to look at, I want to make sure we look at it first. Another place that's been popping up with a lot more earthquakes lately, and that is Iceland. Iceland has had theirs near the Koblenski Ridge here, and also they're having like 4.6. Let's see what else they're having here. They had that over there. A 4.4 about 23 hours ago, but as you can see, there's still newer earthquakes that are right along the volcanic zone here, that goes right through Iceland. So keep your eye on Iceland. Iceland is not as bad as some places because we're going to get to the big ones right now. Let's talk about Turkey. I want to bounce around on the big major places right now, and Turkey is definitely one. The 7.5 earthquake they had 3,220. Can't spit it out. 3,228 aftershocks is how many aftershocks they actually had in Turkey with the 7.5 magnitude earthquake that they had. As for the 7.8 earthquake, they actually have had 3,625 aftershocks. Now let's talk about their stats for their weekly and their daily stats that they've had, like in the last 24 hours would be a big number that we really want to look for. And just so you know, in the last 24 hours, Turkey has had 437 earthquakes. In the last 7 days, 3,322 earthquakes. And in the last 30 days, Turkey has had 5,985 earthquakes. Now, as you know, there's a lot of tectonic plate action that's going on in this area, all throughout this area here. You have the African plate, the Arabian plate, and you also have the Eurasia plate. And they're all right there jam smack together, and that is exactly what's going on in this area. I'm starting to see more people talk about that, which is good, so you will see that people are talking about, they may call it tectonic plate displacement or tectonic plate movement. They'll address it in several different ways, but it's all saying the same thing. Now, another thing that's really crazy is that over here in Greece, they have a very similar situation with the Anatolian plate. And also they have the African plate over here, and you have the Eurasia plate that's over here. So you will see a lot of earthquakes in this particular area also. Now, there hasn't been anything major, but they are consistently having a lot of earthquakes in this area, as you can see. Now, as you get further down by Crete, you're talking about the African plate that's right below there, and you can see that right here is right where the earthquakes are. You can see it all the way around. Now, Cyprus has had also a great deal. My gosh, they're so covered with earthquakes as well. And we just, we hope everyone, we just want to send you prayers because it's just so much going on out there. And right now, there's quite a few people that are homeless in that area, and we really need to either send something to them or send them a prayer, some peaceful, positive energy or something, because those people are really going through it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next thing that we're going to look at real quick. Okay, just want to let you know that prior to getting this video out, I did notice that there was a 6.0 in New Zealand. Now, at the time of taping this video, at that particular time, it had not happened. Now, what I want to do is stress that right as 6 minutes after it happened, I noticed it and I was like, oh my God, I got to make sure I put this in the video. You guys out there in New Zealand, keep your head on a swivel. I'll make sure that now that I'm back from studying so much stuff, I will definitely get back on it and report back to you guys and let you know what's going on. But yes, I did notice the 6.0 earthquake that happened out there, and I did check to see if there were any aftershocks, and at the time there were no aftershocks that happened. But be safe out there, and we'll continue on with this video. Over in New Zealand, a lot of the earthquakes have subsided quite a bit. A lot of these happened a few days ago. But the North Island has been receiving quite a few earthquakes, also right here in the Bay of Plenty, and as you can see right over here in this area as well. And Christchurch has been pretty clear from what I had seen before. Yeah, they're pretty clear right now. I want to say keep your eyes on Cook Strait in this area here, and also the Bay of Plenty. Now you still have Taupo that's actually still under unrest, and also White Island Volcano, just to let you know. Also in New Zealand, make sure, since it's been quite a bit of raining and you're having these earthquakes, make sure you get familiar with these particular, what you want to call them. I guess you could say they're dormant, but they actually call them extinct. These extinct volcanoes that are in this area, just remember you have quite a few that a lot of people don't know about. You may want to download the Volcano Discovery app, so that way you can know pretty much where the general areas are. That's what map this is off of. All right, let's go to the next place. Sydney, Australia hasn't had too much action going on. They also have some extinct volcanoes that are along the shore, but they've had maybe about 4, and a couple of them that are offshore. So that was just yesterday that they had a 2.9. So Australia, you're doing good. State of Washington hasn't had that many earthquakes. There has been some that are offshore. Not too much going on around the volcanoes, thank goodness. Now in Northern California though, they have had some earthquakes that have happened here. Some of them happened a few days ago, but there are some recent ones. As usual, we do have them over here at the geysers, at the geysers and all, that's just something that's going to happen there. But right along here, there are some small earthquakes going on in California, nothing too drastic, nothing too big. I would like to say that in San Diego has been really intense, and also in the Long Beach area, just east of the Long Beach area. Also, Los Angeles has had one that was about 6 hours ago. It was a 2.0 that was in Fillmore, not too far from LA. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the states. Now the states we need to talk about over here in the east, in this area here. I'm just going to say in the east. We do have a big concern with the New Madrid ripping, because there were several more earthquakes that were in this general area a couple of days ago. These are just ones that are left over. And you also have a big trend of unconfirmed earthquakes, and that might be because the ground is moving. There's been a derailment in Ohio. Those poor people have actually been poisoned by the gases in the air. And I hope people are really looking into that. What we can do is we'll do a separate video on the news, on the different disasters that are happening. But we did bring that up, but several days later it was detected that there was poisonous things that were actually right on the train. But I want to talk about these unconfirmed earthquakes that are all in the eastern part of the states. You see that? And if I look at this one, it would probably be unconfirmed as well. This thing keeps jumping. You see all these unconfirmed earthquakes? Okay, this might be the reason why those same areas have a lot of sinkholes, gas leaks, water main breaks, train derailments, buildings collapsing. All these different things are happening because this ground is just not stable. I believe it's moving, and a lot of other people believe it's moving. And so those unconfirmed earthquakes might just be actual movement, what you're seeing. And the booms and all that people are hearing. It could be underground detonations going on, or it can also be that the ground is unlocking underneath, so please make sure that you do your due diligence. Make sure you read some of the pole shift information. I'm telling you that for a reason, and the main reason why is because if there was ever a flood, you need to make sure that you're at the right elevation. And I believe we had that in the last video. You need to be at the right elevation to be able to be safe. But we'll do some more videos so that way everybody can get the word on that. Make sure everyone knows that a lot of these earthquakes that are happening in your areas and that you're feeling are unconfirmed. Almost all of them in this general area are all unconfirmed earthquakes. And it might be because the earth is moving. And in this same general location, you also have a great deal of nuclear power plants. I'll see if I can grab it before I get done with this video, if I can grab a real quick video, a quick image of it. You have a lot of stuff going on out there. I highly recommend everyone from the east, I'll say the east of Missouri, make sure you all start checking and knowing exactly where the nuclear power plants are. Make sure they're not too close to you, because there's so many things that's going on. That is the one thing that hasn't happened that has been predicted. Now, all these derailments, all these sinkholes, all of these, oh my goodness, collapsing buildings, gas leaks and water main breaks, those were all pretty much like predicted that they would happen due to the earth moving. And I showed that, I believe it was also on the last video when we, spoke about Zeta Talk, how they were saying that due to tectonic movement, all of these things will be happening. So these things are happening for a reason. Just want to let you know that. Now, since those are unconfirmed, most of those are unconfirmed earthquakes. Look at that. It just flipped to an unconfirmed earthquake. So as you can see, you do have a lot. Now, as we go over to the west, now we did talk about California, but you can see that there's scattered earthquakes also. Oh my goodness. Do you guys realize 10 Sleep, Wyoming is right near where that big old crack is in the ground in Wyoming? So they just had a 3.7 in that area. I'll do some research on that. As you can see, Yellowstone area does have seismic activity going on. So that's been going on for a little while. That's in Montana side, 0.09. That was about 6 hours ago. But just keep your head on a swivel, states, because there's so many things going on. I know we have a lot of threats, balloons flying, Lord knows what. I guess a UFO is going to land on the White House next. I don't know. Who knows? I can't keep up with it. It's like a big movie production, Hollywood East. But let's go ahead and look at the rest of the world real quick. Mexico is still receiving earthquakes. Not as many as they were previously earlier in the week, but they are receiving earthquakes, and they do have several. They have one main volcano that's actually under eruption right now. Now, let me get this. Popocatépetl. That is that's something else. This name is something else. But this particular volcano has been erupting for a long time. We also have volcanoes that are going off in the Guatemala area, and we also have the Nicaragua area. Costa Rica doesn't have anything that's going off right now, thank goodness. Neither does Panama. Panama has extinct volcanoes in its area. Colombia, they actually have a volcano that's actually erupting. 2 under arrest in this area. Ecuador has 1 under warning and 2 that are actually erupting at this point. Now, there's not a lot of earthquakes that are happening in Ecuador. They happened quite a few days ago, but when we look at Chile and Peru, they are actually still receiving earthquakes. And look like the largest one look like it's about a 4 right here. Yeah, 4.7 right there in Chile. That one just happened about 7 hours ago. And you can see that we've had earthquakes along the tectonic edges as well, the boundaries. And in the Sandwich Islands, it looked like they had something about 5 days ago. It was a 5.0. The Atlantic Ridge has had one a few days ago. Look, that's another 5. That's another 5. And it looked like it was just traveling all the way up to Iceland, as you can see. Now, when we take a look at Africa, Africa is not that bad. They don't have as many earthquakes as a lot of other people do. That's why when we see one, we really pay attention to it. They had a 3.7 about 5 days ago. Now, when we look up in the area right north of Africa and also in the Morocco area, they're still getting those earthquakes over in this area. And they have actually calmed down since the last time I looked. And there are a few earthquakes that are over by the big one, the La Palma volcano, and those have subsided as well. Make sure you keep an eye on Puerto Rico, Haiti, and Cuba, and all in this area, because they're on a very small tectonic plate that actually split. So make sure you keep an eye on this area here. They have had buildings collapse in this particular area. And I'll have to check and see what other things that are going on since that has occurred. But they haven't had any major earthquakes, but they are having a great deal of condensed earthquakes, especially here in Haiti. It seems like it's all in this one particular place, Les Cayes, in that particular area there. And then you see a lot of them are offshore. Now, Puerto Rico has had a great deal of earthquakes in the same general area, in Huaco and Ponce, all in this area here. And those are actually attractions that people go see in that particular area. So that right there was Puerto Rico, Haiti, and also Dominican Republic. For a while there, London area, Birmingham area in the UK was actually receiving earthquakes. Those happened a few days ago. Ireland hasn't had anything. They had some last week, but not this week. I haven't seen anything. Switzerland seemed like they have some little earthquakes going on, and also along in this area here, and also Serbia and Macedonia. As we get down into the Greece area, like we talked about before, they are definitely having a lot of earthquakes. Now look at this. Now this is very unusual. It's a big cluster right here, and when I say cluster, they're all different magnitudes in this particular area. As I get closer, I can see the larger ones here. But something's going on over in this area here, and this is in Romania. They're getting quite a few dense clusters, earthquake clusters in this particular area. Now that's the little one. We're gonna try to get really close. Let's find out what that larger one is. Looked like they had one a few days ago too. That was a 5.6 in Romania. I haven't heard anything about it. I'll check into that and see if anything is being said. Now, apparently that one earthquake that I just hit, you see all those blue boxes? 945 users actually felt that particular earthquake, that one that we just clicked on. Now, we already spoke about Turkey. My prayers go out to those people. I believe it's inching up to 50,000 fatalities right now in that particular area right now, and hopefully they're able to get some sort of aid now, because I believe that was being blocked. Now, to Tajikistan, you have a couple of earthquakes, pretty nice sized ones, look like they're 5s. And as we go around, we can see that India hasn't had any that not really, probably about a week ago. Same in this area here in the Iran area. Bangladesh had one not too long ago. It was about 3 days ago, and look at that, it was unconfirmed. Now, we did speak about this area here. This area here is where the Indian plate has slid and is subducting underneath the Eurasia plate. Let's take a look at that. This is what we're referring to right here, folks, where this plate here is actually subducting right underneath the Eurasia plate. And this is the Eurasia plate that's lit up right now. And as you can see, this is where those earthquakes are, right along the line where you see that it's subducting. So just wanted to point that out to you. But everyone here need to really keep their head on a swivel in that are on the Indian plate. And this is so you can get a general idea where the Indian plate is actually located. And it does go in parts of China. And as you notice, right where these plates are, even if it's under the land, you can see this is primarily where the actual earthquakes are as well. Our tectonic plates they're just moving. Burma's not too bad. Cambodia, Vietnam, they had a few earthquakes in that area. But Indonesia and the Philippines, oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and go down to Indonesia. Indonesia has actually calmed down from what it had been last week. It's not as bad. As you can see, the actual earthquakes now are actually in the orange, which means they happened a few days ago. And as you can see, they have not as many volcanoes active right now as they have in the past. They have one on unrest. These two here are actually under alert, and the red ones are the ones erupting, and the yellow ones are the ones that are under unrest. And as you can see in this area, it really received a great deal of beating from the actual earthquakes that were happening over here in this area here. Philippines has been hit really bad in the last, I'd say, 6 months. Doesn't look like there's anything really large. It looked like there was one here that was offshore, like about a 4.5 or a 5. And then you see one here that's a 5 point something, 5.0. It happened 19 hours ago, and that was also in Indonesia. Now, Papua New Guinea, they have 2 volcanoes. It appears like there's 2 that are actually under warning. So don't have anything that's erupting at this time. Now, we did already talk about Australia and New Zealand, but just so you can know, you can see that all in this area here is like a danger zone. You never know when a 5 or a 6 is going to happen. There's a volcano there under unrest, one erupting, unrest also over here in the Solomon Sea. Now, as we go up, we can see that over here in the South Korea area, everything's clear. But Japan has had a great deal of earthquakes along the Pacific Plate. And you also can see that they have volcanoes that are actually under alert, under unrest. But with the amount of earthquakes that they have, volcanoes they have, this is pretty good. Look how condensed all those green triangles there you see are all volcanoes. And all the ones that are black would be the ones that are extinct, and all along here. But you can see that there are actually earthquakes happening along these volcanoes. And we go on around, see what's going on. Not too much going on in this area. Now, in the Bering Sea, you do see that are a couple of volcanoes that are actually under unrest right now. One is under unrest and the other 2 are under warning. When we get to Alaska, Alaska has drastically calmed down. They had a great deal of earthquakes last week, and it looks like now it's just a lot of little baby reminders of them. There are a lot of tremors that are happening, and not too far from Anchorage, where the Air Force Base is located. As we get a little closer, you can see that there are earthquakes that are not too far from their volcanoes, though. Luckily, there are not any in this particular area, but nothing's erupting in this area. Nothing's under a warning. And in Canada, you can see here that they actually had some earthquakes that happened. And look like these happened a few days ago. Now in Dawson Creek, I noticed over in this area, there are a lot of earthquakes. There was a 2.5 about 18 hours ago, and just an earthquake cluster of them. They all look like they were about 2s, less than 3s. Okay, that was our real big review. We just went around the world and checked all the volcanoes and all the earthquakes. And in the next video, I have some news that I need to get to you guys. There's some things that are happening, things that are being said, and I don't know if the word's getting around, and I'm going to make sure I get that word to you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Ciao.